My name is Randy Sanford, and here is the fundamental idea we want to challenge you with. That perhaps if you change your thinking, you can change your life. You know, that's true in your job, with your marriage, in your family, in so many areas of your life. If you change your thinking, if you change your perspective, the way you look at things, you can change your life. And I want to talk to you today about how you can change your perspective on your finances, and in doing so, see a major shift in your life. Our goal is to help you get to that place where you have streams of passive income, that you've figured out how to adjust how money is working in your life so that streams of passive income are coming into your life and you're able to move forward with your financial goals. My name is Randy, as I said. I'm your presenter today. In 1980, I became a full-time pastor in vocational ministry, and in 1995, started a church in Denver, Colorado. In 1991, I started on a path to pastor a church that was as large as 1,600 with 600 volunteers, and so I was quite a challenge, and I had to learn a lot about managing money, about making money work the right way. In 2012, I became a business coach, and I gained extensive experience in automated marketing and helping businesses and business owners learn how to manage their money and get a good ROI and figure out how to grow their businesses. And then in 2014, just about, it's coming up on a year, I started working with 180 Degrees Cash Flow Strategies, and I'm helping people, I'm coaching them through how to create passive streams of income in their financial lives. And so we have to change our thinking if we're going to change our life. Here's our mission as a company. We want to train, equip, empower, resource, and encourage individuals. Each one of those is important. Give you the knowledge, the equipment that you need. We want to let you know that you can do it. We want to give you the resources and then stand with you and encourage you and encourage companies to get greater freedom by increasing their cash flow. We believe there's a difference between the model that most Americans use of accumulation, gather, 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 and then live off the interest. Except you don't get any interest these days. And except all of that you've accumulated can disappear, versus cash flow, which means streams of income. Cash flow streams of risk-reduced passive income, risk-controlled passive income that can make a difference in your life. And here's what we offer. We offer insight, looking over your finances, helping you to see where you can save, looking to see what difference it can make, and coaching to help you put these things into practice and make them work for you. We're not selling you stocks. We're not selling you bonds. We're not selling you investments. We are offering you insight and coaching. Here's what Einstein said. We can't solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. So we look at our lives and we say, well, I started out in my 20s or 30s, and my thought was that I would accumulate a bunch of money. I would make sure that I stayed out of debt so that I'd be ready to retire. Well, how you doing on that? How did that work for you? Maybe we need to think about a different approach, because the thinking that we use to get here is not going to get us out of here. Now, here's the question. Can you be open to these ideas? You can be the bank. We're so used to lending the bank our money and then borrowing money back from the bank for our house, for our car, for our vacation, for our education. What if we could turn that around and we lend our money out? We lend our money out and then we get back the bigger return. We lend our money out and we get back the return just like the bank does. You can make money like banks do. They multiply their money over and over again, and we can show you some ways that you can do exactly that, multiply your money. Banks and well-run businesses know this. Your cash flow matters more than your income. I bet you can figure that out if you think about it even in your day-to-day life. You can have $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 coming in every month. But if you're spending every penny of that, then it doesn't really matter. It's what is the difference between what comes in and what goes out. That's what we call cash flow, that difference between the income and the outgo that really makes a difference. And unfortunately, sadly, frankly, a lot of us can have a lot of income and not much cash flow. We want to help people to increase their cash flow because that cash flow becomes the engine to create these passive streams of income. And so we do two things. We help you figure out how to increase your cash flow, then show you how to put that cash flow to work. Unfortunately, most of us look at our finances like complicated math equations, right? Well, we just kind of look at that, we get confused, and we give up. But really, it's this simple. You don't have to be confused. How do we increase the margin in our financial life and put that margin to work? How do we increase the margin in our financial life and put that margin to work? It's like this. You have your income, you have your expenses. Well, that's no great news, right? There's a difference between it. There's a margin, a gap, hopefully. Sometimes there's a negative margin, but there's a margin, hopefully, and we want to show you how to grow that between your income and your expenses. Now, here's the great thing. Your income's this. You can increase your income by working more, but better by getting money to work more for you, right? How many people say, I want to work more hours. I want to go get a second job or a third job. Most of us really don't want to do that. But how about if we can get our money to work for us? Our expenses, we can do things like reduce our tax costs, reduce our insurance costs, and drastically reduce our interest costs. And as we do that, look at this, we move this money to the top line and get it to work for us. That's the concept. It's as easy as that. How do I increase that margin between my income and my expenses and then take that margin and put it to work for me? That's huge. And as you do it, as it starts working for you, we call it a snowball. This income snowball starts rolling faster and faster and faster because the money works harder for you. It creates more income for you, which you can put back into the income generating machine, which creates more income for you. So it becomes a great, wonderful, powerful cycle. We want to show you how to do that. So are you learning new ways? Here's how banks manage your money. You give it to them at 0 to 2%, right? Whopping 0.1%. And then they loan your money back at 4 to 28%. If I look at my credit card statement right now, it's going to tell me that I'm paying the bank 17%. They're paying me 0.1%. I'm paying them 17%. And some little tiny part of the money that I borrowed on my credit card is actually my own money. Think about that. You are borrowing in part a little bit of your own money, a little bit of my money, a little bit of somebody else's money. You're borrowing those things that they're paying 0.1% on, and then they're lending it out to you, low end, if you got a house, 3.5%, 4%, but the high end, 17 or 18%. Then the government says, no, that money that you've loaned out, because it's a promise to pay, it becomes an asset, and you can lend it out again as many as 9 or 10 times. Can we do that? Absolutely, we can. And that's one of the things we want to show you. How can you do that? I was working with a lady just yesterday. She has taken the bank's money. Now listen to this, not her own money, the bank's money. She's paying the bank 3%, and she is getting 9.5% on the bank's money and turning it over really, really quickly. It's really powerful to see. Everybody has financial challenges and questions. Now, right here, underneath or next to this video that you're watching, over on the side there is a link to a brochure, a booklet that I want you to download. So can you just take a moment right now and download that? I have put it up for you. I want you to download that booklet, and I want you to look on page 2 of that booklet, and there you will find these questions. What is the biggest financial hurdle that you've had in the past? Think about that. What is the biggest financial hurdle that you have had in the past? By the way, if you haven't been able to get that booklet downloaded, just pause the video right here, download that booklet, and then come right back. All right, what is the biggest financial hurdle that you had in the past? For me, I worked for nonprofits for many, many, many years. That, my friends, is indeed a financial hurdle because I wasn't able to save a lot. What are your financial objectives going forward? You want to travel? Do you want to get a different house? Do you want to make sure you're ready for retirement? Do you want to wisely, and this is something we can help you with, wisely pass on some of what you have to your kids? What do you want to do? What are your financial objectives going forward? I have a son, his name is Samuel. Cute little guy, just little. He's 16 now. He's not so little. He's getting up there almost as tall as me. But Samuel has Down syndrome, and he's very high functioning. I'm very proud of him. He's a great reader. We're going to be going to baseball practice tomorrow night. But he's going to need some help, some serious help when he gets to be an adult. And I need to be able to support him. Maybe after I'm gone, I need to be able to support him. So that's one of my biggest financial objectives going forward, is to make sure that Sam's provided for. What's the obstacle to getting there? What's the obstacle to getting? What keeps you? If you look at where you are and where you want to be, my house paid off, my credit cards paid off, all of that stuff. What stands between you right here, where you are now, and where you want to be? What's in the way? Might be lack of education, might be all the stuff that comes up, might be expenses that are in the way. What are the obstacles? And then the question is, here's this big wall between where you are and where you want to be. How do you scale that wall? What's your strategy for getting over that wall? That's the next question that you have to ask. What's my financial strategy to get there? Well, that's the big questions. Who is helping to educate and guide you? And that's what 180 Cash Flow Strategy is here to do, to educate you and guide you and help you walk over those obstacles, find those strategies, and get where you want to go. What we're doing for most Americans is frankly not working. Here's where we are. We're playing the bank's game, giving them more money at a very low interest rate and borrowing it back at a higher one. We're controlled by money's demands. There is, if any of you watched Mad Men, or there's a huge, huge ad industry out there trying to get you to spend money. That's the whole goal, to make you feel like there's something wrong with you so that you will spend money to get more money, to get more prestige, to feel better about yourself, whatever, look better, whatever. But money is constantly saying, spend me, spend me, spend me. And if it's not saying to you, it's saying it to your spouse or to your kids, spend me, and we can become controlled by money's demands. We get confused, we get distracted, we have something else that comes up, and we set a course, but then we lose track of that course because we get distracted. We're simply not in control of our earning potential. We're not in control of it, and we need to be. So here's where we want to be. We want to, frankly, be the bank. Be the bank. You want to be the bank. That's the most important thing, that you are lending out and you're getting more in return than it's costing you. That's the key, to be the bank, to have those streams of income like banks do. You want to be free from money's control. You want to tell your money where to go, rather than it telling you what to spend. You want to be informed and in charge. You want to be the person that is able to make their finances work and laser focused on multiplying our cash flow and working towards our vision, getting to where we're going, discovering how to get where we need to be. And once we've got that plan, sticking with it. And that's really the coaching dynamic that we offer with 180 Cash Flow, is helping you keep moving with focus towards your vision and towards multiplying your cash flow. That's what we're here to do, to move you from the left side of that screen to the right side. So where do we get our current understanding? Our culture, Madison Avenue, tells us how we ought to live and what we ought to look like. And then there's a financial industry out there, and they're not, they're not bad. They're just telling you, here's what you need to do, whether it's insurance or whether it's mutual funds. I'm sure that they want your best interest, but whenever you have something to sell, it's quite natural that you think everybody needs it. And so instead of saying, what is the specific plan for this person's life, if they're selling mutual funds, they're going to sell you mutual funds. One of the products that we are able to offer, for example, is peer-to-peer lending. We'll talk about that a little bit later. How many times have you gone to your CPA or your financial guy and he says, you know what? You might think about investing in peer-to-peer lending. It's not going to happen. And that isn't right for everybody, and it's not right for all times, but it is what we're suggesting to some of our clients at some point in their life because it works, because it is the right thing. But the financial industry, too many times, they only have one product. And very often those are mutual funds or bonds, and they don't have anything else. And we got to think about what can they offer? So are you willing to change your thinking? Here's 5 secrets to true wealth, and these are secrets that we want to help you apply to your life. We challenge you to approach your spending like banks and businesses do, with planning, tracking, and discipline. And we have a tool that will help you do that. I've seen businessmen, guys who owns businesses, and they're really good with their business and planning, tracking, and discipline, but then they get home and, oh my gosh, it doesn't work out so well. By the way, if you've downloaded that brochure, that booklet, this is in your booklet. Fill in these blanks. But what we want to do with our own personal finances, we've got a great tool that we use to help you plan what you're going to spend, track what you do spend, and be able to discipline your spending. Raise your vision. It's not just about getting to the end of the month. You get to the end of the month, you get to the end of the month, you get to the end of the month, and sadly, the end result may be that you're not ready for retirement, you're not ready for your kids' college education, you're not ready for the next phase of your life because you've spent all of your time just trying to get by. And we want to raise your vision. How do we think longer term? How do we see what we can do generationally? How can we do more than we've ever thought that we could? Have you ever thought, maybe I could own real estate? Maybe I could be lending money rather than borrowing money. Absolutely. All of those things are very, very possible. But we have to raise our vision to be able to do it. It comes from this: multiplication instead of addition. Multiplication instead of addition. We're very used to the idea of adding. That's the accumulation model. I'm going to add a little more, get a little more in my bank account, get a little more in my bank account. But what if we could multiply our income, multiply what's happening with our money rather than just adding to it? But it comes with this: anticipating economic cycles. You know, if you were to ask, Dave Ramsey says this, if you put your money into mutual funds over a long period of time, you just left your money there, you get about 10% a year. Well, that's great, right? Let me tell you that the normal investor over a period of time, you know what they've gotten? 3 to 4%. Why? Because when the stock market starts to go down, like it did in 2008, 2009, people start getting scared, but they don't bail out until the stock market's declined quite a ways. Then it starts going up the other side, and they're like, oh, I'm not going to be fooled again. I'm staying out of that. And then they see all their friends getting back in the market. They see the market going up and up. And finally, they buy in after the market has gone up. And so the result is that they are selling low and buying high, just the opposite of what they want to do. We need to anticipate economic cycles. We need to be nimble enough to make choices that keep that cash flow going in good times and in bad times. And we want to challenge you to change your time horizon. It's not about right now. It's about the rest of your life. It's about your kids' lives. How do you think longer term? That's what we want to help you to do. So what about you? Here's another page in your booklet. What do you want your financial future to look like? I want to be able to travel. I've gone to a lot of places in the world as a pastor and trained leaders. I want to take Gloria back to some of the, she's my wife, take Gloria back to some of those places. What about you? What do you want? What do you want your financial future to look like? If you're really honest, are you building it in the way that you want to? How do you feel? If you think about, we looked at that difference between your income and your expenses. How do you feel about what you have left over every month? Maybe you'd like to see that increase. You want to increase it, what would you do? What's your plan to do that? And if that doesn't work, what's your plan B for doing that? If it hasn't been working, maybe it's time to move on to plan B. And is that going to work for you? You have a good plan that you can move to. Here's what corporations know how to do. They're very disciplined in their speaking and their spending, as we said, and they turn their inventory over and over again. They're able to manage their cash flow, their accounts receivable, accounts payable, and use the vendor's money and your money in order to multiply what they're doing. So Costco has multi-million-dollar, what, 1 point something million of product on their floor. And how much does it cost them? It's cost them nothing yet. they get 30, 60, 90 days to pay that. And all the time you've already paid for that product, and they're using that money to be able to buy more product, and they are able to use that money over and over again and until that time's up in order to use that money to multiply the money before they have to pay their bills. And so they are able to spend other people's money in order to generate cash flow. Here's what happens with real estate. Maybe you've heard about this. The idea is that you buy a house and to rent out, and from the income from that house, you use that now to leverage to buy another house. So you have two of them now. And you use the two of those to buy a third one. And so you're multiplying the income from those houses. Now, we have a variety of strategies, real estate strategies, a snowball strategy that I'm just going to show you, tax strategies, interest strategies, insurance strategies. But here's one strategy that we use that I think is very, very effective. And this strategy is very powerful in helping you to multiply your income, to create a passive stream of income. Now, let's talk about this. We all want to begin with this in mind. We want to make sure as we go along that we have those passive streams of income, things like pensions and real estate, franchises, businesses, trail income, royalties, whatever. But there are these passive streams of income that are coming our way. That's our ultimate goal. And here's where we are. We have each month our income, our paychecks, our pensions, our commissions, whatever. And that money goes into our checking, and from our checking it goes to pay our bills. We all know about that, right? We've got credit cards, we've got our cars to pay, we've got education to pay for, our home debts, all of those things that we have to pay for. And if we have a little bit of extra money, it goes into our savings account. And if we have it in our savings and that builds up to a certain level that we feel comfortable with, we're going to move some of that into our IRA, our 401k, our retirement funds. And our goal is that accumulation I talked about. If I can get $1 million, then I can take that $1 million, and out of that $1 million, I can have $50,000 a year to live on. Now, of course, a lot of us said, well, $50,000 ain't going to be enough. Well, and will $50,000 be enough 10 years from now, or 15 years from now, or 20 years from now when you retire? And what if you accumulate all of that and then all of a sudden it goes down right at the time you're retiring? So there's a lot of problems that really, if you want to be safe, you better have $1.5 million or $2 million. So that's the challenge. And then how you doing in getting to that level of $1 million? And so we want to talk about the income snowball. It's a little bit different. Still have your income, your paychecks, pensions, all the money that comes into your life, your commissions, and that goes into your checking account. It's paying the bills. But what if we were to take that money from the checking account and we create what we call a sweep account? Now, a sweep account, think of it this way. It's a line of credit of $10,000, and we are using that sweep account as the place where all of our income goes into, and the sweep account is where we pay our bills from. Now, why are we doing this? We create this sweep account so that the money then can move from the sweep account, $10,000, the line of credit. The line of credit now buys us an asset. The asset, as I said before, we use peer-to-peer lending for right now. There may be other things that we use, but that asset then is created by the line of credit. We invest that money into this snowball. And this account is paying back to us $340 a month. So start looking at, and this is where Stuart and I help you to find excess income that you can put into paying down that sweep account, tracking your spending, finding out if you're giving money to the IRS that you shouldn't have to. And so let's say that you were able to say, every month I have $1,000 that I can pay against that sweep account. Now remember, you're not really out anything. You borrowed $10,000, but you put $10,000 into an account that's paying you interest. And I'll show you in a few minutes why that account is pretty safe. It's paying you both principal and interest. So you have $1,000 coming into your sweep account from your income, and another $340 as income from your investment. Now, what happens? You pay down that sweep account in about 6 months. So in 6 months' time, because of the income that's coming in just from your paychecks and all of that sort of thing, and the extra $1,000, the $340 that's coming from your investment, now you pay down your sweep account and you start a second snowball. And that one's now paying you $340. So how much you have coming back to you? $680, almost $700. So at 11 months, now you've paid down the sweep account again. You are going to start another one of these investments. We call them snowballs because the whole thing's getting larger and larger. And after that period of time, it's paying you now $340. So now we have over $1,000 that's coming back in. And look at that. In 4 months, you are able to pay down that sweep account and start another investment, another passive stream of income that will pay you another $340. So what's that? 3, 6, 9, 12, 13 something coming back your way. So now imagine this, from the beginning of this process, in just 15 months, you have now created a stream of income that is over $1,300 every month. Isn't that great? You have created a stream of income of $1,300. Now, I would say that's pretty good. And then in 18 months, now you've got 16, now you got 16, almost $1,700 coming back. So let's look at it another way. Here's here's borrowing a $10,000 line of credit, and in 6.5 months, so you put the money into social lending, creates that $340. In 5 months, after 6 months, you're able to do it again. Then after 5 months, after 4.5 months, in this illustration, you're paying, you have $1,200 in existing cash flow, plus the $340 that comes from your asset, plus an extra $340, and then again, another $340. And so at the end of, what is that? 6, 11, 11.5, 15, 16 months, you have $1,080. In less than a year and a half, you've created extra income of $1,080 per month and $30,000 in assets and no debt. Now, that is pretty good, wouldn't you say? Pretty good. That's one of those passive things. Now, I want you to see this because this is a great illustration. Now, what we have on the left here is if you just were to put your money in at compound interest, you put that $10,000 in compound interest, and then in the middle it's compound interest plus you put your cash flow in, and then on the far right is this income snowball that we've been talking about. And look what happens over time. See how much further? So here are the numbers. In compound interest, in 5 years, you get about $20,000. You're getting 14%. Huge return just on compound interest. If you got compound interest plus you put your cash flow into it, you'd have $124,696. But if you did the income snowball that we just talked about, you would have $261,950. $261,950. That's pretty darn good. In 5 years, $10,000 to start with, almost $262,000. That is really good. So remember what we said? What we try to do, we help you to reduce your tax costs, your insurance costs, your interest costs, and then put that money to work for you. Put that money to work for you. And so we want to increase your margins and then make that margin work for you. That's the gas in the cash flow engine. And that's what this process does. This is a beautiful illustration of exactly that process. I figured out, see that excess income? That comes from taxes and interest and all of those kind of things. That's that excess income that's put into this engine and creating an income for you. So let's say that as I am working this snowball, here's another way to look at it. Maybe you say, what I really want to do is to pay off my mortgage. I want to pay off my mortgage. Great. Well, let's split it. Let's put $3,000 each time you do one of these. We call them flips. Every time you pay down your line of credit and you're ready to go again, how about if you put $3,000 towards your mortgage and $7,000 towards a snowball? Where would we be? And after about only, listen to this, 1 year, you paid off almost $20,000 in principal, eliminated, this is so excited, eliminated $18,215 in interest payments that you will never have to pay because you're paying down your principal so fast and early, you'll save yourself $18,000 and cut 32 months off your 30-year mortgage in 1 year. That's pretty good. In 6 years, your 30-year mortgage can be paid, listen to this, in full. You have $8,753 in monthly income from notes, almost $9,000 in 6 years, monthly income from notes, $257,400 in liquid assets. You can sell those notes on the secondary market and get that money back, and $1,773 extra monthly cash flow because you don't have any mortgage payments. Now that is exciting, wouldn't you say? So another thing you can download, and I need you to do this, is to download the discovery sheet that's there next to this video. Download that discovery sheet, and I want you to begin to fill that out. It looks like that. And I want you to print it out, and I want you to fill it out. Okay, and then what I want you to do is call us, give you the number in a minute, call us, and we'll schedule a time we can sit down and go through your discovery sheet. So fill that out right now and be ready to give us a call, and we'll set up a time for you to talk. Or you can email us, and I will give you both a phone number and email at the end in just a moment. And so here's a guy that has been involved with 180 Cash Flow. I want you to hear what he has to say about what it's done for him.
The first thing that impressed me about 180 Degrees Cash Flow Strategies was, in fact, the strategies. In particular, the strategies around cash flow, because that's what I was looking for in my life, to understand the role that money played in my life. And that's exactly what I got. Not only was there education about new ways to deal with my money, but 180 Degrees Cash Flow Strategies, Stuart and the whole team, led me through how to use the strategies. So I always felt comfortable at every step of the way. Not only was there education, but there was guidance in how to use the strategies in my life. And over the last year, it's really paid off. At this point, not only is my cash flow dramatically increased, but my comfort with using these strategies has increased as well. And I'm really grateful to Stuart and the entire 180 Degrees Cash Flow Strategies team.
What we want to do is help you to apply the 5 wealth secrets, especially helping you track, helping to move your vision forward, helping you to stay on target. We want you to learn strategies that generate cash flow. We want you to have those risk-reduced streams of income. We want to help you eliminate debt while increasing your margins, because you increase your margins, you add gas to the cash flow engine so that it moves faster. And we want you to be ready for the economic cycles when they come. So would you schedule an appointment with us? And what we'll do is that we're going to provide a multi-point cash flow analysis. We'll look at your life and say, hey, let's look at those finances, figure out what is working, what's not working, what we can do in order to increase that cash flow and to put it to work for you. And that's the kind of analysis that we'll look at. We're going to put a step-by-step plan tailored to your needs. This is no cost at all. We want to offer that to you, a step-by-step plan tailored to your needs, and then help you to schedule appointments with banks, credit unions, or other trusted partners that we have in order to make these strategies work for you. So we'll help you with the account setup if needed. We have some people that are using qualified money, retirement money, and finding ways to invest that in cash flow real estate. That's something else that we do. We have a number of strategies that can help you, and we will help you walk through those account setups. I've just been doing that with several of our clients. And we offer a money-back guarantee. If what we offer to you, what we give to you doesn't help you, is not worth it, then please let us know. You can have your money back. And we will have regular pre-scheduled coaching checkups to make sure that you stay on target and stay on track. So fill out that discovery sheet, schedule the call, and schedule that call today. Call 503-709-4613, 503-709-4613 in order to schedule an appointment, or write us at 180 CFS office, 180 CFS office at gmail.com, and let us know that you'd like an appointment, and we would love to schedule one for you. If you just call up Stuart and say, hey, Stuart, meet with me, he'll be happy to do it, but it'll cost you $250. And we've had several clients who are happy to do that. We want to offer it to you for free. But do it now. It's something that you don't want to miss. So there's that address. Questions, send them to 180cfsoffice at gmail.com, but also please send us just a note that says, hey, I'd love to schedule a time to meet with you guys. So again, fill out the discovery sheet, schedule that call, and do it now, and it'll make a world of difference. And thank you so much for listening.